Hello, girls.
Hello.
Hello to everyone who watch us. We are happy to be now in one room with Nicoleta Palmer, PhiRemoval Master in USA.
I'm
Good
very
to have
happy.
you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm so happy, and I feel like I'm looking at everybody, all our students, everybody who was around us for so many years. Feels like we are all together, and I'm so happy to be here.
Me too. So, we decided with Hajer to make some changes in our Phiremoval Worldwide, and next time also we invite one of our PhiRemoval Masters, but we decided to start from you because, you are one of my first PhiRemoval Masters ever. And actually, when I remember all this way you did, so I always remember, and I like to describe that you have really amazing character. You are a fighter, because to become and to be master is never is easy. And we like to talk about your everything, what you like to talk, just, let us know, because everyone likes to know your stories and how you started open this market in USA. Also, it's very interesting to listen. So let's start from this step, maybe.
Yes. First, thank you for having me here. I'm very happy, and like you just said, few words before how we started, like a couple of years ago. I will never forget that day. It was the most exciting day at what I'm thinking about my career, because if it's something what I love and what makes me happy, we all have different things. Some people but I love people. I love to share my knowledge. I always been very happy to help, and I always find a way. And I will never forget when I first met you. I was so excited, and I always, like every class I always start, I always this is my story, because it's like we all have a story. With our story behind and without experience behind, we're never gonna be who we are these days. And we always have to be open to learn. And just because I was so focused, I was always like, I'm in the beauty industry for 22 years. I started with skin. I have a medical background. I never can be a doctor because my heart is so soft. I don't think I can help anybody. I'm just gonna lie down there and just like cry with them. But I find like being a doctor in a skincare, even if I'm not a doctor, but it's just like we save lives. We bring happiness. We are doing exactly what people they're doing to help. And to me, that was always the highest of the day. And when it came to removal, I was so excited because I've been to so many classes, and it's not about like talking anything, because from every class I learn. I never look back at one class to say, you know what, I've been to classes and I never learned anything. I always learned something. I always added to my experience, but I was never with every classes I done when it comes to removal, I was never I never wanted to provide that service, because somehow I didn't see the results what I was looking for. And I said, it's still time to keep searching. And I was kind of like disappointed, because so many classes I think learning something, but I was disappointed because I couldn't bring that to my clients. What people they were looking for removal, I couldn't say I will provide removal, because there was not removal. It was like lightning. And I don't want to say, when you say removal, you have to be able to remove, not to be able to just do something just light. Where when I find PhiRemoval, and I will never remember the class, when I came and I met you the first time, I will never forget. I was actually registered to 3 different classes in the United States. And I always tell every student in a class, I said, I wish everybody would be so excited to have that energy when you come to a class, to be able to absorb, to be able to like how this little kid in a candy. That's the way I was. And I registered because you had when you came the first time, you have few different classes in the United States in the same tour. I wanted to make sure I registered to the class in Chicago. That's the first class I seen. I registered to the one in Houston, and after I seen a class in Orange County, which is close to where I live. I didn't even care about the deposit. I didn't care about anything, because to me it was like what I was looking for was more exciting than anything. I said, I'm gonna attend this class, and I will never forget. And that day, I couldn't even eat. I was that excited. I remember we had lunch, and I just want to like absorb anything what I can from you, because I said, you know what, you have something, you have that gift, because that it's all say, everybody, doesn't matter how much experience we can have the most experience on this planet, but when we deliver to other people, if the delivery is not understood in a way where people can take something from that class, doesn't really matter. And you were that person where I felt, that is something where I will follow this beautiful lady no matter where she's going. I will never give up. I finished that class, and I just I felt in my heart that was something like I can teach, because there were so many things. It was like microblading offering that time, and I'm in a permanent makeup industry since 2004. I'm attracted to every part of permanent beauty, like permanent, like anything can be lips, eyes, anything what I was providing. But to me, to be able to teach someone and to help someone with something what really goes to your self-esteem, when people they are looking in a mirror and you cannot take it off, you have bad work there or something, I felt like that is something really fits me more as a teacher. And I was dreaming about that. There was I couldn't sleep. I don't know if you remember, I keep sending you work. Like I went home that day, I called everybody I knew. I didn't, to me, it was not about, okay, I'm going to call a client for a service. I didn't care about the service. I didn't care about the income. To me, I just want to make sure I will do what I learned in class, because that's what I always try to make everybody understand in class. I said, we are in this class, we absorb. But at the same time, if we don't practice, doesn't mean anything. It's just like, we know, we see what it is, but when you start doing, and you're doing one model, the second model, the third model, you start really understanding what actually PhiRemoval is. Because PhiRemoval is like, I feel like this class we teach, this part of the industry, what we share with people, open doors for every single part in the permanent makeup industry. Because it's teaching us about our touch. It's the most gentle touch, and that's what permanent makeup is. We don't what we're doing these days. And I always tell everybody, once you do this class, I have so many people in a class where they will call, and I always talk with everybody. I have an assistant, but the assistant, the only thing what it does, I never have them talking with people, because I just feel like when there is something what people need to understand, the translation from one part to another is different. And I always, when people has questions, I'm always the one like answering in a certain way where I want people to understand, because people say, do I need experience to come to this class? I said, no, you don't. Because what you learn in our class, it's okay to have experience. It's amazing to have experience. That is not right or wrong. But if you don't have experience, you can come in a class and you can learn from scratch, because that's exactly what you learn, like a baby steps. And each time I had people in a class where they never done anything in this industry, but they were just so amazed about just they had people in a family, because they all have a story. Our job has a story. That's why we become who we become, even if we are not teachers, if we are just like estheticians, everything we do is a story. If you don't have a story, that means you don't have a passion. Because when I decide to go in the beauty industry, I decide just because I love it. That's something what I love. It is a passion. I don't consider just like just have that question, oh, how much money do you think I'm going to make? No, that will come with your passion. It's if you put that first, that's always going to be because you are actually searching for something else. And that's what we see sometimes, like around us. I always want people to making them understand passion is going to bring you success, because nobody was born doing anything. Nobody was doing anything unless like you want to learn something. For example, when I came to your class, I went home. I didn't go. I went home and I started with my sister. My poor sister, like every class, whatever I done it, she was always like the little guinea pig. I started because I done it in class, and I just want to make sure, I want to see it with my own eyes, what is going on. But sometimes like we have students, they come to the class, they don't do anything for 5 months, 6 months. There are 2 days left on a craft master, and you get that phone call. The craft master is expired. Okay, it is expired because I always explain in every single class. What we are doing, our academy has a continuing education. It's like going to high school, you start first grade. You're not going to start first grade and you're going to finish high school in the same day. There are steps what you have to pass. And each time I always know from every single class, and I always push everybody. I said, please, just send me. It's like, even I said, if you don't think like you done something, I don't know, 100% correct, just stop. Because you always we have the next section. It's like cooking. If you put too much salt, you're just gonna throw it away. Just like, you can just like do something little by little. And I encourage every single person I ever met. I said, if you're not sure about something, please always ask. If it's just like, I'm always like answering every questions. I'm always, there is no way and I get excited when people are asking. But sometimes when I get that phone call, they said, what do you think? It's like, oh, what about the aftercare? Okay, I'm not saying there's anything wrong about asking about the aftercare. But if you don't know anything about it, that means you never opened the Craft Master. That means you never opened the book. And that means, and I gave the book, I have everything in a book, including aftercare, everything. I always tell everybody, I said, I'm even if we are in 2020, I still have that old fashioned, I'm always thinking, what if we don't have internet? Let's say you have a client, you don't really know every single step by heart, because it takes a little while to really know everything what's going on. But I put in that book, step by step, like a baby. I said, just look into the book. It's not like cheating. You learn. You look into the book, you know the steps. And is there the aftercare? I said, just in case your client has an allergy or something, you have the ingredients of every single product we have. It's like everything is in that book. We have the same thing, the most amazing Craft Master. I remember how the Craft Master was like years ago when I was a student, and how amazing it is, a Craft Master right now. And that's what I always feel like, if you ask that question, that means you never, because it's not a question to say, or kind of to understand, like they were just reading something about it. It is nothing, it's zero. I said, okay, that is just like, everything starts from a theory, because what we are doing, it is hands-on, it is very visual, but you have to understand the skin. We are working with the skin. There are there are types of skin. Everybody is different. We have to understand how the skin works. And in order to understand that, if we don't have a background from before, we have in a Craft Master, and we offer the skin expert, we offer so many things where people can have knowledge and learning basic function of the skin. And I'm always like, that part of the theory to me is very important.
Okay, yes. I have a question for you. So it's not easy to be a master, right?
Oh my God, definitely not. And I think if that will be easy, that will not be something what is actually where we are standing right now. Because becoming a master, there is a lot going on with this title. It is not just, okay, I'm going to send you some work and look at my work, but you know, I can, you have to have social skill, you have to love what you're doing, you have to have experience about the skin. I'm in the skincare industry since I was like 20 years old. I always love skin. And besides that, it's in the same time, it's really, you have to have that patience, you have to have that delivery. It is the whole package. And it's not like something is gonna happen overnight. Because for example, the first question is like so many times we have that question and people sometimes get upset, and I always tell everybody, there is an opportunity for everyone, and that's the reality. I'm not going into that class to say something what is not true. The opportunity is for everybody, but all depends on you. All depends on your first, like, you have to consider that, not just because sometimes people think like, oh, all these people, they just like, you know, travel, they have the students and that's it. It's just like, it's not that. It's what you can offer. You have to be educated, definitely the education and the skincare. Because in order to teach someone doing what we're doing, you have to know every single little details and every single part what is considered skin. And besides that, it's the patience. If you don't have the patience, and you know, it's like it's another thing. It's like besides that patience, it's like you have to love people. You have to love people, and you have to just make sure you are there to deliver 100% and to just make sure when you leave that class, you are happy in your heart. And that's how I am. I'm going to tell you how many times I missed the plane, how many times I did not care. Because there are times where it's one person, which I'm happy when people ask questions. I'm always, everything is like in that class, it's about questions because I want to make sure everybody understands. And if it's something where someone didn't understand in that frame time, I always say there is nothing wrong. We all are different. Every single painter on this planet, every single doctor, every single job out there, we are all have a different way of retaining, different frame time. But doesn't make anyone different than another, because there are people who can learn faster, there are people who can learn a little slower, but there's nothing wrong with that. And I always, for example, like when I get that question in a class, how long is taking you to do the removal? I said, that is not the most important part. It is important because we work with acid. I always say it can be longer on the skin, but just like to do something just because we are speeding and we want to make sure we're going to book the next client in 30 minutes, I said that is not the actual key, what we have to look for. We have to make sure we deliver 100% our job. And back to becoming a master, that was something like, I can say I was really, I was actually fighting with myself. I was actually competing with myself. And that's how I always do. I always, like, I put something in my mind and I will not give up. I'm proving myself like, that's something what I want to do. And I just like, I don't know, like, I'm sure you remember how many times, and I said, I felt bad because one time you were somewhere to a convention and I sent you this work and I just want that feedback. I just want to, because I was excited and I was watching my phone. I'm serious, like, I don't know, like God knows what is going to come from that phone, because I wanted your answer. I want you to tell me how, if that was good, if that was, because it's like, it's just definitely if you love something and if you fight for it, like with everything in life, then it's an opportunity for everybody, but comes with a lot of background experience and, like I said, all related, patience, social skills, and the love of your job.
Okay, Nicoleta, what you are ready to tell us, during our conference in Nice in France? Just a little bit and explain about your topic you are going to tell.
Okay, I'm so excited because I'm gonna tell you something about why I call that technique butterfly technique. Has the okay, my daughter, is always, I don't know, she's like an old soul, and I always talk about her. She has something with butterflies. She has a thing, like she always, like, she sees butterflies everywhere. And we were playing one time and we were watching a movie, and she kept just like, I don't know, like her little hands, and she said, "Mommy, feels like a butterfly." I was just playing with her hand. She said, "That's so beautiful. The touch is so beautiful." And I have that thing, butterfly, in my head. I never thought I would use it for the technique what we are doing with removal. And one day I had this particular client. She's Romanian, and I'm sure like it's the same thing like in your country. Just when people speak your language and that, it's just like they come and they have all these like they think like, okay, that's it. We're just gonna take this removal, this whatever we have here overnight. And I explained her what's going on, but she was like very strong. She had an amazing skin, and I said, because she had permanent makeup done 4 years ago, but she has something done before, like about 3 months before she came for removal. It was not something which she wanted, and she wanted off. I said, okay. I was doing her a little like the consultation, consultation is very important to me, just to know the health of the skin. Um, she was very healthy, not on medication, not on anything. She wasn't using any vitamin A products, because we all know when it comes to skincare, it's skin sensitive. We all want to use vitamin A, but when it comes to certain situations, the skin becomes a little bit sensitive. And that's when I was excited to try. And I started with Phiremoval solution. Her skin was responding amazing. And after that, I said, I'm going to do the enzyme. But the way I done it, I kind of like flew over the skin, but of course, like into the skin. But I kind of felt like a butterfly. And that thing came in my head because that was not something I planned. It was something like, and the reaction was amazing. The reaction of the skin was truly amazing. It was like, because of course, what I always explain about the two different products we use when it comes to glycolic solution and when it comes to enzyme. And to work on someone who has a lot of titanium dioxide, because that's what she had. She had it before, this permanent makeup done 4 years ago. She thought she has removal, but she had actually camouflage. And that camouflage part was all like cement, how we all know what titanium dioxide does to the skin, and it was gray. And when I first started, I thought I'm just gonna work just on that side, what was the camouflage. But actually, I kept up going. And the reaction of the skin was amazing. And I felt like the reaction between the enzyme solution and the glycolic was actually making the skin to kind of like relieve the impurities, which was exactly what we were looking for, to just have that break down the molecules from the titanium dioxide. And from that, I use that a lot. I can tell I use that on everybody. I don't know if I just got addicted to that, but I like that result. And I like the reaction of the skin, because I do like 2 passes with Phiremoval solution. It depends on the skin type. And I do 1 or 2 passes with enzyme. And the way the skin heals is just unreal, because that's what we understand, like the enzyme and the glycolic somehow through the molecules, where the part of the enzyme is exfoliating, and the part of the when it comes to glycolic and the enzyme is the exfoliation and breaking down the molecules together, the skin just actually like can't wait to push out whatever it's unwanted into the skin. And that's how I came out with this amazing technique. I use it on eyes, an eyeliner. It's really safe, and I can tell anyone can do it if we never go to that digging into the skin, because that's how a lot of people sometimes understands, like you have to go deep in order to really have the reaction of the skin, which is not. And being gentle, and I always describe the butterfly, is just like, it's unreal. There is no way we have any kind of like to get a phone call to say, just like some type of reaction or some type of like, the healing will not be what we're looking for. It's really amazing. And after this, actually, I have so much in my head. I'm gonna talk something with both of you in private, and maybe we come out with something for future, because I seen a lot of I don't know, I like to do, even when I was doing skincare, and but I don't have a lot of time to do skincare anymore because it's so much. I don't know, like I do a lot of things, but when I used to do skincare, I was always like trying different things. I always try to combine things. I have this thing, I don't like to stay basic, and that's how I did the removal with this butterfly technique. And I'm just so excited. I can't wait till we are able to go and demonstrate when that time is gonna come. Go to Paris to do it, for everybody to see it. And I get so excited because everybody in our group, I get so excited when I see everyone coming with all these different ideas, and it's just so amazing. Our whole PhiRemoval family, I'm talking about like the instructors, and it's just like, it's so beautiful how we all think, because we love what we do, and there's so much to do with these two products that we have, which is the magic and two bottles.
Okay, maybe it's time already to see your students' pictures, because you will explain how it was made and some impressions about them. So we will ask Hajer to show.
Stay here till tomorrow.
Yeah, before showing Master Nicoleta's student, I would love to ask you a question.
Yes.
How many students do you have?
I have a lot of students, and I'm just I teach over 400 students.
Wow! Mashallah.
Because I started, I even like remember like right now when I started, I will never forget. It was 5 o'clock in the morning, and I thought first, because I don't need glasses, but I thought I don't see it. I keep looking, and it was a text from Michaella. It was like, and when I seen that, I was like, oh my God. And I travel. I never had, because that was the way it is here. It's just a little different. Like, in Europe, I see like their big classes. I'm sure here is the same, but it was like, I got so excited. I'm serious. I travel every single weekend. I didn't care if it was like 2 students, but it was like domestic. We didn't have to go international, but I didn't care if it was like 2 students. And I'm going to tell you the first class. Okay, before we're going to go that, I have to tell you about the first class I had. My first class was in New York. I remember like today. I called because I didn't know about like, just like I want to be somewhere beautiful. And I got this, was this beautiful hotel in New York City. And I was so excited. I didn't want nobody to decorate that. I was like, I didn't sleep all night long. I was so excited. I was just, I always describe like this little kid. I couldn't sleep. I just want to decorate the room. When the students, they started coming into the class, and it was so amazing because in that first class I had, I will never forget, Franchek had class next door in the same hotel, Franchek and Florin. And I keep telling them, I said, I think I'm going to pass out before I'm going to go. Because that whole night, I was just like, I couldn't sleep. I said, I think I'm going to pass out. And I will never forget, I started the class and I looked into the class and there were so many people I knew. Just because I traveled with Franchek for like about a year and a half before that, just traveling places and to every single class he had. And I met so many people. And everybody who was in my first class, they were just so excited because they knew me over the years. Just even like if I knew their faces. And I will never forget, it was maybe like the class started like 9 o'clock. And it was no break for 1 second. I was going on and on because I was just so excited. And I was talking about this removal and just so excited and talking about everything. And I can see Franjek, he was like, you have to give these people a break. He's like, you keep going on and on. But everybody was excited. Nobody wanted to go to a break. And we were there, and it's like we celebrate that day. I will never forget. And that was the opening door. I was just so happy because everybody in the class, they were so excited. And just like, it was something like done with my whole heart. I didn't go there just to be there. I was more like, I'm serious. I thought like I'm just going to pass out before that class because I used to teach before, but I never teach classes because I'm specialized and I started with eyebrows, like eyebrow shaping since I was like a little girl. And I was teaching. I never advertised. There were people always asking. And I had students like one at a time. I never even considered like I was a teacher. I don't know, because I was just like, someone will ask, do you think you can teach me? And I used to do that, but never a group. And I didn't know. I was like, first I was in my head about English. I said, what if they're gonna ask me something and I don't understand because you get confused. It's when you are so like, I don't know, like excited and scared in a way in the same time because you know it's gonna be and you want everybody to be happy. I said, what if I don't understand what they were asking me? It was amazing. And we have so many stories over the years and so many students. Everybody is close to my heart. But I have some people who I always see myself in a way because they won't give up. I see my phone like 3 o'clock in the morning, sending pictures and doing and asking all these questions. And when we're going to show the work, because I send the work I have a lot of work to, because to me, everybody is there. Everybody has amazing job. Everybody, because I don't let them till they don't come to like 100% job. But there were so many people who they were, I see myself. And when we're going to when I see the work, I just want to like, just give the story to these people because it's just like, it's so interesting. Sometimes I said, I can write a book about like how people, when they really want something, it doesn't matter if you are in a different country. Because I have few people who they travel few different times from different countries just because when they first came to the class, they were maybe, I don't know, they were not sure about, like, they were kind of like scared to really work on a life model. And they came back, and I always tell everybody, even in class, I said, I'm here. I'm in the salon, I work. You can come and watch me when I work on a client. You can come and watch me, like, or you can bring a model when I have a class. I never, like, the doors are always open because I will do anything I can to make people really have their answer when they ask questions. But if you don't ask anything and if you don't do anything, there is nothing what I can do. But when I get that question, and that's when I'm excited to only go to the work.
I still remember the words of your husband. He said that PhiRemoval took you from family.
Oh my God! I'm telling you, I didn't care. My husband was like talking with me. I would not even listen. I'm like, he said, "Oh, okay." He was like, "I'm done," because I was just like moving my head, but I didn't even listen because to me, that was my priority. I will go home, I will work, and I will go home, and I will start like study. I was doing because I always had this thing with education. And when I concentrate on that, I said, it was like, I really was like my priority. Even with my daughter was really young back then. You remember, because you met her, she was like so young. I used to take Isabella with me and the nanny. They will come with me. They will stay in the hotel. I was like, she's with me. She's safe. My husband is old enough. It's okay. He's fine. And my priority was into my work. I didn't have but I was excited. I was not doing something like, even now, when I stand, I just look online, and I always like try, because I get always like, people has a lot of time right now, which is amazing, because I like when people ask questions. I talk with people every single day. I never, it's like, sometimes the students, they said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I send you this text because I thought you're going to answer in the morning. I didn't think like you're going to answer right now. I was like, no, it's okay, because I don't know. I'm into like this 100%, and I love it. But like I said, it was like my husband, when he told you, he said, first he was like so funny. He said, I don't know what's going on. I really want to, because he didn't really know. He knew I was telling him about it, but he didn't, because we had a business, and he was like, what do you mean you're going to go and work for somebody? I said, I don't work for somebody. I said, I work for myself with somebody. I said, we work together. I said, this group. I didn't even know how to explain him, because we just opened our new business. And he couldn't understand. He said, what's wrong with you? Why, like, your business is so successful. Why are you going to go and work for other people? I said, you'll never understand. I said, something what I love, then I don't care. I'm just going to go and follow this dream I have. And he kept like trying to understand what it is. And he said, who's this Branco? What is Branco did to you? I said, what are you talking about? Because he was like, he couldn't understand how. Or I will talk with people on the phone, and we're just like, he would be like, and after he totally understood it, he said, you know what? Because he does hair. He used to do it. Now he can see, but he used to do hair. And he used to, when he really understood this whole structure and the PhiAcademy, he said, you know what? That is something like, I will support you, because he really understands how it's something professional. It's not just like, I'm just going to go and just like, I don't know, have nothing to do and just like talk about something, a couple of hours, come back, and we're done. He understood this actually like a school, because he used to work with Paul Mitchell, which was like this big hair industry, and it's like, was exactly a school. It's not, we're just going there. And I said, you know, that's a passion what I always had. I never really, it's something what I dream about it. And my business became second. I was like, every weekend I was gone, every single weekend. And I was so excited. I was like very excited to see people coming from everywhere, and to see how they will start sending work, and they were just like excited working on a model. Every single step, what I did in class, to me was just like this most rewarding thing what I ever can get. And I will never, it was like, there was something I will never, ever, ever forget, because it's like, it's still, it's fresh in me even right now. It's like every class is exciting. I never take, because sometimes I had questions. It's like, oh, how you can do the same thing all the time? I said, that's actually wrong. It's not the same thing all the time. Each time, yeah, we are doing PhiRemoval, it's the same technique, but we are not like machines. The way we are working with an individual. For example, we have in a class, let's say we have someone who had an eyeliner, someone who had, and everyone is different. It's like, I can consider like I'm doing the same thing, even if it's the same technique, but the reaction and the skin and the result, it varies from one client to another. And that's what I always try to make everyone understand. This is not something like we just gonna, the expectation of removal, if we don't even explain to our client what is going on, it's like, we're not magician. We're not gonna remove it overnight. I always like explain the same thing how, for example, on myself with my hair. Me, I have a thing with my hair. There are few people who does my hair, nobody. And I know everybody in the beauty industry working with like, I don't know, years and years and years, or like 20 years, and like so many salons. They are my friends, but they don't even want to do my hair, because it's like, I know exactly what I want, and I drive people crazy. But what I wanted to say, I always explain that I seen, and even I never been attracted to hair, but the reason I'm just giving this example, it's kind of the same when you have a passion for what you do. I used to work with this particular guy who, his name is Lorenzo, he does Jennifer Lopez hair for like so many years. I done her eyebrows too, a couple of times. And he had this thing when people will come and they say someone has a dark hair, and people have that expectation. They just want to, they say, oh, I want to be blonde. We'll never do blonde overnight. A lot of people does it because they said, you know what, who cares? But he was just so particular about like the health of the skin and the health of the hair. The same how we are with removal. And that's the reason I give that example, because we don't want to look just for the color. The color is the color, it's going to come out. But the most important thing is the health of the skin. That is something that's like, we're going to live forever. We can't just destroy someone just because it takes time and always correction. It is not something where it can be corrected overnight. Any correction. People go to plastic surgery. I've been in Beverly Hills for so long, and I've seen people, like anybody, I have so many clients, doctors, and plastic surgeons, which we always talk about it, and it's so crazy because when it comes to removal, we are related in so many ways with like medical industry, how people, let's say they go and they want to have, let's say a procedure, like a surgical procedure. And when it comes to something what has to be corrected, that correction takes time. It's not the best doctor on this planet is not going to correct someone overnight. Can be few different sessions, few different parts, few different ways I'm doing it, but not doing overnight. And that's what I always explain everybody. PhiRemoval, it's one of the only technique as I know. I don't know, something might come out tomorrow, who knows? But as I know right now, and I done a lot of researches, I did a lot of classes, I said in the past, but no one, it's like what our removal does. Because with removal, you can remove 100%. With removal, you can, let's say, sometimes I have clients, that's what I like to do, all kinds of, I can say experiment, but it's kind of, it is, because it's like when you know how, when you believe in the solution and believe in what you're doing, you're not afraid to just like experience something where maybe it's not written into the book or something we learn about it. For example, I had this customer, she went somewhere, she had her eyebrows done. She loved her eyebrows. Her eyebrows were, actually the shape was beautiful. She had kind of like an ombre, but it was like really dark. And she said, I want to remove it. And I said, okay, what really bothers you? Because I said, because we did the shaping, was actually the shape, like I said, was nice, but just the color was, and she said, I just want to remove it. I said, you know what? But I said, you like the brows? She said, I like the brows, but I don't like the color. I said, okay, you know what? Let's just do one session. And you know what? I done one session of enzyme. And the color, when she came back 3 weeks later, was amazing. She kept asking, what color did you put it? I didn't put any color because I was just actually, the enzyme is just like, kind of like, was making the color softer. And if it's done proportional, it's really, because it's like sometimes when I explain people in a class, I said, yes, you're gonna do that. But if you don't work uniform, you can just like tap it like at the beginning, because I see sometimes when I get work, you work a little bit at the beginning, you work a little bit at the end, and you see the result, it's uneven. Sometimes it can be uneven, depends on how it's done before, but so many times it's not, the removal was done there, was not done correctly. But if it's done correctly, like I said, we can use it as a lightning, we can use it as a partial, we can use it in any ways. It's possible and impossible, from removing 100% till actually make it lighter. Or sometimes I have clients, for example, they had permanent makeup done before, and they come, let's say, for powder brows. I always, even if what I'm going to do, let's say I'm going to do their eyebrows, the shape is correct, and I can work in there without any problem, I always suggest them to do one session of removal before. Even if they don't, if the color is so light, and when you think like you work with, you do powder brows, we know that always holds better. But I always have that thing where I said, let's just do one session of removal. And it's always a question. Why? Because I said, just because we're going to regenerate the skin. Once we're going to regenerate the skin, we're going to work on a new skin. We let the skin heal. We're going to work on a new skin. And the color, it's always going to be beautiful. Because what really like glycolic does, and it's just like the way it makes the skin, we cannot really advertise just that, because we advertise removal, but there's so many things besides that removal. The skin texture, it's beautiful. At the same time, I seen with my own eyes hair. I just look at the client. It's like I look at the pictures, because I always have this, like I always remember. When I work on someone, I always remember what was there. And I was like, oh my God, your hair is growing. And she said, I realized that. She said, my daughter told me that. It's just like we do such an amazing thing with our technique. That's why sometimes, like, I always I have someone ask and they say, oh, well, like classes in general. When I have questions, they said, is this gonna damage the hair? I said, definitely not. And I always have to explain why, because you can say definitely not, but why? I'm always explaining we are very superficial. The hair follicle, it goes to a third layer of the skin, and it's just like we don't go anything deep, we don't damage anything, but what we are actually doing without not advertising anything, we stimulate the hair growth. I've seen it over the years, and nobody can tell me that is not true. Because I've seen so many people who have no hair or a few little hairs, after the removal, they start growing hair. Then what we are doing, we are actually comes with a whole package. That's what I said earlier. There is no one technique out there where it's actually regenerating the skin and being that safe. Because when we think of glycolic has been around for hundreds of years. That is in every single, you look for example, like teenagers. They're in washes, they're in every single kind of like moisturizer. Why? Just because glycolic is the one ingredient what is carrier for other different ingredients. Even if we see now, let's say a skincare line, you see they have glycolic 0.00 something. There is not really a lot of glycolic, but the reason they use that, I used to do chemistry and I love it. I love to go, that's why I like to just go so much into the products when we combine the two solutions, because I always look of when two different elements, they get together. And what the glycolic does, glycolic is actually carrier. That's why it's helping, and we see these amazing results of removal, because when the contact with the skin, it disconnects in hundreds of molecules. And once we have that opening, that's how the pigment comes out. And I always said, it's just like we're so lucky to be able to just like offer, and we feel lucky ourselves because we feel good to be able to enjoy our job and to be able to work with something what actually really works. Because there is so many things that doesn't really do anything. Now, I'm so happy to represent PhiRemoval family, and I will always do it.
Super.
Okay. So now it's time to see results of your students. Yes, because everyone is very curious how you teach and how your students get the results.
That is amazing. Okay, this I'm gonna talk a little bit about like this first work what I have in front of my eyes here. Magda, I met Magda in New York about like 2 years ago, and I will never forget. She was in a class and she was asking so many questions, which I love that. Asking questions after questions after questions after questions. And she said, I don't know, because I've been to a lot of classes. I don't know if this is really gonna work. And it's like, I said, if you really follow the steps, there is no way you're not gonna have an amazing result. This woman, even to these days, as much as she's doing an amazing job, she feels so excited to send me her work, because she was like someone who kind of like, I can say like, not like she didn't believe it, but in a way, she was doing like for her first work, nothing changed. And I said, of course, it's not going to change, because if you don't do it correctly, that's not going to change. And she came to a few different, like, because I said, you know, just like if you think like you really want to absorb, again, just if whatever classes I'm going to be around, you can come and watch again. And somehow she came back to one of the class in Miami, and she lives in New York. And after that, she became the queen of removal, because she has so many clients for removal, so many clients, because she sends me so much work every single day, just because she is excited and to look into like her result. And when I think of that, that comes exactly with a passion, because she didn't give up. Which, like I said, she was disappointed in the beginning, but she didn't give up, and she got one amazing result, and I'm very proud of her. And that's an example of, in general, when you really try to really understand and you're going to do this removal correctly, there is no way can be another way but perfect result what you're looking for. And that's Magda. I was very happy. Okay, this work right here, I will never, ever, again, because everybody to me, I personally remember every single student I have. When I met Nancy, she was in New York. She was doing one of the other class in Los Angeles. I was there. Frantic was doing one of the class, and I was there having the removal class next door. She came to the class and she said, you know, I'm here because she was actually doing kind of like perfections or something, because she said, you know, I'm here for this class, but I really want to come and attend your class. Do you think it's okay if I will come like 2 hours late? I said, I look at the time and I said, yeah, and if you have time after, I can stay with you, because she does not live in Los Angeles, and I really wanted to accommodate her. She came to the class and it was the same thing. Will not stop with questions. Why? What about this color? What about this color? And we had like a few different models. And once she was going home, a few days later, again, starting like questions about like the class, about things where she didn't remember. But when I see that, I always see that ambition. And I always get very excited, how I say 100 million times about this excitement I have, because when you ask something, that means you care about it. And that's how we end up with an amazing work. With this work right here, the one just passed, it's I had this girl last year in December in Los Angeles. The same thing, she said, I don't think if this is gonna work, I try. I said, no, it's working. It's not a method what we're just talking about, but we have to do it correctly. She didn't give up. And when she finally understood, because like I said, sometimes people understand sooner or later, but if you have that ambition, you're always gonna get there. When it comes to this work, another like this work right here, and there's just few different, I post few different works of this girl. She's from Trinidad. She traveled to the class. She was really in the beginning in permanent makeup industry. She started before removal. She started a class for microblading, and she wasn't an artist yet, but she realized so many people what comes to ask for the service which she was going to offer, they all have permanent makeup. because, you know, everyone depends on the demographic, but now it's kind of everywhere. But in the beginning, there were just kind of more, a lot of people who they had like permanent makeup done before. And she said, I love microblading, but I don't want to work on someone else's work before. I said, because I always, like, even when it comes to classes, I always explain. I said, always remember, when you work on someone who has something there, you're not actually, the person is going to forget who was done there before. You are the last one working there. When it comes to that, it's about your reputation. Even if you didn't really do anything, it's like the person forgets everything what happened in the past. And this girl, I'm serious, she was like every single day asking. And after starting doing with a machine, and after starting working on a large areas, and it's like my always when it comes to the understanding of myself, when I understand the student on the other side, I always think of me because I am that person. I like to ask questions, and I get excited when I have people asking because they are actually very interested, and again, coming back to that passion. Another class, I had this guy, Chelsea is his name. I will never forget. He came to one of the class in Los Angeles. It was right before Christmas. He came there. We finished the class. He said, "You know what?" Like, but he was so funny because the way he was talking. He said, "You know what? I don't think I ever can do that." I said, "That is not a question." I said, "You came to the class. If you're gonna be able to do it." I said, "You know, I have a class. He's from Panama." He said, I said, "I have a class in a month in Miami." I said, "If you want, you can come there and watch me again." This guy, because he was so afraid to actually, like, I don't know, was something about removal, what he thought was just like, what he's going to do with that. And he came 3 times to just absorb and watch. And after the 3rd time, he said, "That is just so crazy. I really understood, but it was just so funny." And he was traveling from a different country, but his ambition was just unreal. And he will come to the class and he will have like, will not take that, okay, I'm just gonna stop for an answer, because he wanted to do that to begin with, but I didn't let him do that. I said, "No, there is no way you're not gonna learn." And he did. And he's doing an amazing work. And the same thing I had in New York. This particular girl, her name is Ashley. She came to the class, and first she was just like, she said, "You know, I came here because I actually like look online and just like I kind of like follow you." And she said, "But I really don't know if this is really like, I don't know, doing something." I said, "What do you mean?" Because, you know, there was so many, like, when I guess in every single industry you have like competitor around where, I don't know, talks about like, I don't know, just kind of bring negativity where something was like not real. But that's what she kind of had in her mind, because she heard something about like removal is just, I don't know, it's not what it is. And sure enough, she was in the class, and maybe, I don't know, starting with like 2 weeks after the class, she started sending me her work, and she was just so amazed and how her mind changed from the beginning when she came to the class to 2-3 weeks later when she seen exactly what actually the removal does. But again, nothing comes with any job. The same, that doesn't matter what we are doing. Doesn't have to be permanent makeup industry. Anything. If you don't put your work in there, and if you are not actually trying to just do the method correctly, of course, we don't see a result. If we don't put the product into the skin, we don't see anything there. If we go too deep into the skin, that's how it's just like you can have like problems. But other than that, removal to me is just like, I always tell everyone, there is no reason to be afraid if you listen and watch everything I do in that class, and you go on the Craft Master, and if it's something you don't understand, ask a questions. If you do these 3 subjects, what you are doing, there will never be a problem of thinking you're not going to get 100% result, or you're not going to, because sometimes people say, oh, I heard, I don't know, it can be damage. I said, anything can damage. Forget about removal, but anything what is not done correctly. But doesn't mean it's something wrong with the method. Or for example, like there was, I don't know, let's say for example, when you think about it, like let's say we have a class, forget about removal, any class, a class with students in a regular school. There are students who they finish their class with like on the top of the class, and there are students who finish on the lower part of the class. What is the difference? Because it was the same teacher in the class. The difference is the work what we put at home, because you don't expect to just have 100% result and knowledge without no experience. That's how you get into like understanding what exactly is going on the moment. And when I see this is the first work he sent me. That's the guy from Panama, the one I was talking about. He couldn't understand when the person came back and the color was not there. It was just a little shade. He said, I'm so sorry I drive you crazy. And I thought this thing is not really doing anything. I said, no, the technique is actually doing amazing. It's the way you actually performing was not that amazing. But all these people I met over the years is like, I'm happy sometimes, not like I'm happy, but in a way I am, when they said, oh, I don't think I can do this. And I said, no, you can. And I'm not going to let you do it till you. And this work right here is just so crazy, because I jump from one thing to another. We all know how hard it is to actually take actual colors from the skin. When it comes to red, when it comes to green, when it comes to yellow, when it comes to every single color possible and impossible. And look at the difference, how removal is just actually, it's kind of like this butterfly technique, because the skin is amazing. The skin is doing like, it's not even showing with something done there. But again, if it's done correctly. And I always like, when we have, I had this particular student, when she was working on someone for few different, whatever I see the work, I'm serious. All this work, I don't even need to know who did it, because I always remember who did it. I was like, I have a thing with like these amazing results. When it comes to this result here, the result here was done with enzyme, and it was a fresh work, and looks like was nothing done before. You don't even think was a permanent makeup done before, and look the result of the skin. It's just, again, anything is done correctly. If we always like, I even like tell like everyone when it comes to the class, I said, because there are a lot of people who say, I have a lot of things going on, and I'm gonna start working on like in a few weeks. I said, what if you even, let's say you cannot be 100% just on removal, but don't let that fresh memory, what you have from the class, don't let that disappear. Try to just like, even if you're gonna read a little bit or watch some videos in Craft Master, just don't finish the class and go home and do nothing for 4 or 5 months, and after that saying, oh, this is not doing anything, this is not, of course it's not doing anything, because you don't even remember. That was so fresh in your head. And if you don't continue, kind of keep it a little bit like that connection with what you learn, of course it's not going to be able to see a result. But I have so many successful stories, and there is no I had only one, all these students I ever met. I had just was like one student one time, like she had like a really long nails, but long, like really long, and kept saying, I don't know, this is not gonna work. I said, because we can even hold the actual tool. It is important, and they don't take it personal, which I love that. I really, because I tell them from my heart. I don't say anything from something being
You're not coming out.
just kind of like, oh my God, what you're doing is not good, or kind of like to judge someone. But I always explain. I said, in order, you might be able to work with nails maybe later on, but now in the beginning, you have to feel that tool, and you cannot hold it, and just like right away, people get excited and they said, you actually so right. Now I can do microblading too. I couldn't understand why I couldn't do microblading. It was because of the nails. And, just like I always try to, anything I can, because it's from my experience. I done it. Now I don't have nails. I can, personally, I can work with long nails. But there are people who can, but there are people who cannot. And I always say, try. If you can hold it correctly, just try it in a different way. And when it comes to the way it's done, if it's not done gently, I always say that being gentle and keeping like that butterfly, what I keep talking about, that is always magic. The result is just magic. It is unreal. And I can't wait right now, just because with everything what's going on, it's not, the classes kind of stop, because definitely in LA, we're not allowed, definitely in Los Angeles, is not allowed anything with skincare. People they just opened the hair salons inside, but they were doing hair and nails outside, and like outside in front of the salon. It's just a little bit with what's going on right now, but I'm sure after the election and when things will calm down a little bit, I really can't wait. I can't wait to go back and traveling and to do what I love. I really like miss it. It's something what I just like. It's like that passion I had, and it's just like I love to talk, I love to explain, I love to see results, and I miss it. And I'm sure it's happening everywhere, more or less. But here we are a little bit more, I think with that election right now, it's a little bit more kind of like people are so undecided with, just work, and we don't know what's going on. But definitely it's always gonna be work for removal, because the whole world is microbladed left and right, and we need to help some people, and I can't wait. I can't wait to do that.
Okay, yeah, your talk was really very interesting, because you are talking with your heart, and actually we listen so much interesting things and about your students, how they came this way, and they became now all the professionals in PhiRemoval. So, and I think so that we in the future also will make again meeting with you, because we are missing also you. And I hope so that everyone now in your family stay healthy. And little princess, where she is, I listened her, she came back, right?
Not here. She has a friend across the street, and if she will knew, because she still has her picture in a room. Your picture, it's in a room, in her room, and she has, from that first day when I went home, because I went home with that mat for the table, and Isabella has it all. And she went to her little friend, and I was just so excited, because if she will be here, she will be all over the place, because she thinks like she knows.
Okay, that's beautiful to listen, right? Hajer, would you like to say something?
It's amazing. Thank you so much. You know, you said so many things about your student, and you showed a lot of love for your student. It is
it's like, it makes me happy. You know, we all have a high of something. That's my high. It's like, I always get
all
excited.
masters love their student, but your love for your student is bigger, is really bigger. I can see from the way you were describing their work and the question. You were speaking, you know, with very, very, with amazing details, and it's very good.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy. I'm happy to have heard.
I
all
remember
these
every part. I remember every step of everybody. It's just that it just does not leave. It's a little part of like little memory, like little spaces with everyone. Their first work, their how they get like scared and how they get excited and how I get that phone call. They said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." It's like it's just all these steps. Is just something where I will never forget. That's
Yeah.
always in my memory.
And you know, Master Nicoleta, that student, the first class with their master, it is marked for life. They will never forget. And I am sure all your students, all your 400 students, have very good memories of your class. And I'm
Yes. You
sure,
know, I keep in touch with everybody.
yeah, we have great love for you. I am very sure. And I would love to see you soon,
Oh my
hopefully.
God, I can't wait. You know, I feel like we're together here. If like even if we are just like on this online thing, but at least it's just something, and we can do that more often to just.
We will meet. We will meet more often in Phiremoval Yard, but we will meet soon in our congress.
I know. Oh God,
In time. With God's will, it will be in time. It will be much better than it's supposed to be. So the more it is postponed, the more people will know about it. The more people will be attracted by this amazing event, and I hope to see all your 400 students in the Congress.
I know that will be amazing. No, it's like I'm very excited. I really can't wait. That's a dream what will come true for sure. I can't wait for that. And thank you all. And I can't wait to see you in person. And before that, we just can see us again to just
Yes,
with some
definitely.
ideas.
Definitely, Grandmaster Ella will arrange another Phiremoval yard with you, and you can tell us more. And please, I want you to give me a correct number of the students, because
Yes,
I think it is
look
more
at
than
the Grandmaster.
400.
But you know, I had to look at the Grandmaster, but now with the
Next time when we meet in Phiremoval yard, we will know. It will be. I'll be myself waiting for it.
And you know, maybe what we can do one time, maybe I will. But no, we're gonna keep that.
No, we'll keep it for next. Yeah, for next one. Yeah, we will ask you. We will have the question for you. We will prepare question for you and for your student.
Thank
Grandma
you.
Ella must be very proud of her master in the United States. And Grandmaster Ella, you must be very proud.
Nicoleta, as I told, she has character. She had so many interesting situations, because if you are alone in the market and you are beginner, so always you get with situations. But she is a winner. She always was strong. Even sometimes she was not supported, Actually, we see her smiling and with 400 students. And so she is really a great master for PhiRemoval for sure, and for Academy.
Thank you. Thank you. And you are my role model. I always, and I love it. I didn't give up, because I believe if I believe in something, there is no way I will ever give up. And before we're going to end up, I'm just going to tell you just a little story. I will never forget. I was working that was years ago. Has nothing to do with the removal, but I'm just saying when we believe in something. I was working in the salon as an esthetician. And I was recently moved. I was living in New York, and I moved to Florida at the time. That was years back. It was this little salon, and with this particular skincare line, I fall in love with. Was called Jurlik. It's an like natural with natural oils, and it's from Australia. It was something, and I went to actually a class, and I see how the distillation went, how the skincare was made. I fall in love with that skincare line. I sold so many products, and I'm not a salesperson. I didn't do it to sell, but every single client, I was just so excited to tell them about these oils. And the end of the year, the owner, when I was working there, she couldn't understand the total of my sale. The total of my sale was 45% more than my sale, than my actual service, which is unreal. But I was so excited. I was doing this facial and just so excited, like about these oils, where I couldn't stop. And that's what it is with removal. I believe in something. There is nobody ever is gonna take that from me, because that's my beliefs. And I'm always gonna support myself and what I believe. And I support them myself sometimes. And Master Ella knows.
Thank you very much, dear. Thank you very much, really.
I love you, and I love you too, sweetheart. And I can
love
love
you
you guys again.
Thank you. We'll see you again. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna have Isabella next time.
Have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Bye, Master Nicoleta. Bye.
Bye, dear.
That was a very nice description of a master about her student. 400 student, Grandmaster Ella. Oh my God.
Yes, she is very busy, and of course she put in her heart, and she works on 100%. And actually, as you see, she has everything, collected, and she remembers each moment's impressions and everything about her students. So it's really.
She was describing, each photo in the trailer earlier. She was saying, this is the student, and this, she remembers the moment, the first day after. Wow.
But I remember Nicoleta as a person who fights, if she believes. She already told it, but I know all the stories, and she needed to survive, Actually, oh my God, yes, you need to be not only strong in your mind, you need to fight, actually. And she did it. And so I'm really proud for that. And that's why she's queen also in USA, PhiRemoval queen.
And can you imagine taking care in Craftmaster 400 students, their work? It's not easy.
Yes.
Wow. Because she's being taught from a grandmaster, Ella.
Yeah, maybe. Yes, everyone in our community, I think so, they have something special. They are personalities. That's why if we are together, we are power.
Yes, absolutely. So, Grandmaster Ella, who is now our next guest?
PhiRemoval Master, of course.
Yes, but you know who she is or he is?
We have now homework, so we prepare students' works, and who will be first? It will be our next guest.
Okay, that's good. That's brilliant. Super. Okay, my dear, don't go away. I need you for a little while. Now we say bye-bye to people watching us, and see you next week with a new guest.
Bye-bye.
Good work, and with Grandmaster Ella and myself. Bye-bye, and enjoy your evening.